Well, we wouldn't accept anyone with a criminal record, or if they had a very bad debt to society, or financial debt. We wouldn't accept someone who was simply looking for a place to live and to eat, because we're a very hard-working society, very hard-working community, and we expect every member to pull his or her weight.
Shared by one devotee and another.
There are no quick conversions. The introductory course lasts 3 months. 40% of the trainees will leave within the first year.
For devotees to practice
The trainees must learn to cultivate the 26 qualities of the pure devotee.
in their daily life. So, on the board here,
Instruction is based on the Vedas, the oldest of the world's scriptures, which are believed to have originated in India 5,000 years ago.
inquiring confidential
Indian traditions are preserved. In the background is an exact replica of the deities in the Jagannath Puri temple in India.
God has
The original carving, which is thousands of years old, was never finished by the craftsman. But because the craftsman was a highly respected devotee, local people painted the incomplete forms of Krishna and worshipped them.
without qualities,
The Hare Krishna devotees in Worcestershire do the same today.
with personality.
The trainees learn to follow a Vedic lifestyle, a simple spiritual life involving control of the bodily senses and a controlled vegetarian diet. As in India, the cow is sacred. Hare Krishna has the first cow protection program in Europe. Cattle are cared for in return for some light work. For Krishna devotees, killing a cow which gives milk is the same as killing one's mother, and anyone who slaughters an innocent animal is doomed to return to this earth after death and suffer a similar fate himself. Given the Indian roots of their beliefs, it's hardly surprising that Hare Krishna has worked hard to cultivate strong ties with the Indian community in this country. Immigrant Indians are the main source of financial support, donating £250,000 a year to the movement. Hare Krishna claimed 20,000 life members, almost all of them Indian, who each pay £200 for the privilege. The life members regard the temple as Christians do their church. They form the lay congregation who follow the teachings of Krishna while, unlike the devotees, living a conventional life in Western society. Dr. Vishnu Sharma is a lecturer in law, a magistrate, and a life member of Krishna consciousness.
You don't have to be a devotee, you don't have to live in the temple. The people who live in the temple, especially ISKCON, they are going to be trained as I see priests. They will teach other people about Krishna consciousness. But you can also be a Krishna conscious by staying at home. For example, my whole family is Krishna conscious. We believe in the strict principles enunciated by Lord Krishna. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no drinking, and all those 4 principles.
For many Hindus, the Hare Krishna devotees are equivalent to Christian monks. These young Westerners, themselves converted to an Indian religion, are now carrying the faith back to the Indian community. Yet even in the West, the movement's values and lifestyle remain those of a traditional India. Marriages, for instance, are arranged in the traditional Indian fashion. Before a marriage can take place, the temple president must give his consent.
The young girl or the young boy will come to see me, and she will request, or he will request to be married. Generally my first question is, do you have anybody in mind? Of course, in our movement, the boys and girls work together, so generally they have some idea of who they want to marry. And then my job as the sort of guardian of that person, as the temple president, is to consult the other partner and to see if he's agreeable. And from that point on, there's an engagement period, 3 or 4 months, when they work more closely together and sit and talk together. And when they're really sure that they get on very nicely, then we arrange for a wedding.
Today is Madhavendra Puri's wedding day. He spends some time before the ceremony studying the scriptures and meditating on them. He doesn't see his bride until the ceremony. This Indian wedding has no legal standing in this country. Madhavendra and his bride Draupadi were legally married in a register office a year ago, but they've observed the vows of celibacy until their marriage can be solemnized according to Vedic rites. The marriage vows are made over a sacrificial fire. An Indian couple, who are life members, are also to be married.
Of course, in our society, the most important consideration is that each partner will help each other spiritually. The material compatibility must be there, but for the husband to be a suitable spiritual help, and also for the wife to be a spiritual help to the husband. This is very important.
Marriage is for life. There is no divorce. Each couple must promise to bring up their offspring according to the Vedic scriptures. In Chaitanya College in Worcestershire, the first generation of Western children are now being brought up in Krishna consciousness. Some of the children's parents live here as well, but other parents are devotees in the Watford or London temples, and they see their children only at weekends. The children live under the same disciplines as the adult devotees.
First of all, they're rising early. They rise at 3:30 in the morning. They bathe and dress in clean clothing. Then they go to the temple for the morning service, which is at 4:15 a.m. And then the children here, who are of school age, they go back to their ashrams. Now, an ashram is like a house, just like in any boarding school. There are houses and there are house masters. So these children live in ashrams within the community, and so at that time they're learning chanting and they're reading, they're studying the Vedic scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam.
All right, I'm just going to go around the class. I want to see who had them all right and who didn't. Ragaleka, can you give me the answer to 3 sets of 5?
The rest of the morning is taken up with conventional schooling. The class is taken by a trained teacher.
Who has an answer then for 3 sets of 5?
The subjects taught are the usual ones.
Prema. 15.
In the classroom, as everywhere else, Krishna is at the center of things.
And on this side, you've got 9 sets of 3.
The children's afternoon is short because they have to be in bed early. This afternoon, the boys are putting on a play. The teachings of Krishna consciousness again play a central role.
What's the matter now? Let's like Daddy It's following us!
The Hare Krishna children are being brought up to be as devoted to God as their parents are.
Go away! Get lost! Clear off! Yeah! Beat it!
Obviously, we're hoping they'll remain as devotees within the Hare Krishna society, although when they reach a mature age, between 16 and 18 years of age, it's up to them. They can decide, how to live their life. But obviously, if they're very trained up nicely to keep Krishna within the heart, within the center of their activities, this will remain with them their whole lives. And for some of the children, if they're academically qualified, then we're hoping that they'll go on to university.
They learn history and
geography,
like
dictation, nature study.
No, we don't do the ABC.
Sanskrit.
The children themselves seem happy enough at the moment. So far, their contact with the outside world has been extremely limited. When this changes as the children get older, no doubt many of them will begin to question this adopted lifestyle. Such conflicts have already occurred between parents outside Hare Krishna and their children who have joined the movement. Some parents have objected strongly to their children giving up family and friends, or sometimes education and careers, in order to serve Krishna. Mr. Webster remembers the shock when his son Tim joined Hare Krishna.
if you'd have seen Tim before, so without just in a joking, or say on the Saturday, he did have a lovely head of hair. But when we saw him on the Monday and he came in the door, well, his mother nearly fainted, and that's putting it mildly.
Well, I was very upset to start with, because it was something that I'd never really heard about before. Although Tim had bought a few books on the Hare Krishna, I hadn't really looked at them.
It's difficult for them to understand, you know, they're not used to, especially being an Eastern religion, Eastern philosophy. She said to me it would be different if you joined a normal church. Maybe then I can understand. But I know even if I did that, she still wouldn't understand if I took to a completely kind of different way of life and what I've been leading. You know?
Parental hostility to movements like Hare Krishna is the reaction which is almost always reported. But this is by no means the whole story. Tim Webster still keeps in touch with his parents and visits them regularly. His parents have found their attitude to Hare Krishna changing.
Come in.
I got some
flowers
in there from the temple.
Thank you.
Where's that really beautiful garland?
Oh, thank you. Both my husband and I have since realised that he is very happy doing what he is, and when we've come in contact with the devotees, there isn't any harm in them, and it is an austere life. It's not as if he's going into a life of luxury, sort of getting up at 2 in the morning, and it isn't, as I say, a life that we would have thought that he would take up. But as he did, we just had to wish him luck and hope that everything turned out all right for him.
The Hare Krishna devotees themselves, of course, consider that they've gained much more than they've lost by following the Krishna calling.
Of course, to the outsider, sometimes it appears that the devotees are leading a very renounced, austere kind of life. Sometimes people say, but what do you do? How can anyone exist in such an atmosphere? Of course, the fact is that devotees are very happy. We don't feel as if we're giving up a tremendous amount. We feel quite satisfied because we have so much more to live for in our lives. We have a very deep feeling of satisfaction derived from serving Krishna and from seeing our own spiritual life unfold before us as the years go by.
The devotees believe their way of life will bring not just happiness on earth, but eternal happiness. They're only too glad to escape from a Western style of life they consider godless and decadent, but they don't regard this as running away.
There's no question of running away, you know. We're not actually meant to live a completely materialistic way of life and then at the end of it have nothing to show. You know? We're running to a spiritual way of life. We're running to find God.
It's through their single-minded devotion to God that Hare Krishna devotees believe they will escape from an endless cycle of reincarnation and leave behind forever the miseries of this earthly existence.
At the time of this body dying, the soul lives on. And the whole goal of the practice of Krishna consciousness is to find the final resting place of the soul in loving relationship with God.